10,000 $100 bills I can add well. 10,000 hours on my grind, Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The
What's up, bro?
financial rebel is in the building.
How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, King. Happy New Year to you and the fam. How you doing?
Oh, man, all is well. You know, here trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Oh, wow. So you got one of my favorite books right behind you.
The Evolution of Money?
Oh, I thought that's how money works, right?
Oh, yeah. How money works.
Yeah.
You know, I got my
Your Black's Law.
You know. So for everybody coming on, this is the Financial Rebel. He drops those gems. He is a wealth of knowledge. He is a great resource in the community, and I have a great Mindset Monday for you today. We got so much to talk about, so let's get into it because I want to talk about the finance, and if we have enough time, you know, I want to get into, you know what I'm saying, I want to get into the deep levels with you, like how we talk about, you know, when we do talk, I want to get into some of them deeper levels.
Let's do it.
You know, but let's talk about the finance first. So it's tax time.
It's tax time.
And you do taxes. So, you know what I'm saying? It's perfect.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So it's tax time. And anybody who just coming in, there's not that many people on right now. But I save my lives now and I put them on my YouTube channel, so they will be on for longer. They'll be on for 24 hours, but then if you missed it, you could definitely go back to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to catch the whole Mindset Monday because you're not going to want to miss this.
All right, well, hold on. What's your YouTube? I didn't know you had a YouTube.
Oh, yeah, Trace. I mean, it's just a little, I'm still putting it together, but it's Trace Snatch.
Trace Snatch, all right.
Yeah, Trace Snatch, same thing. So I do all my Mindset Mondays because I realized that last year I did a whole bunch of great Mindset Mondays with great information, great individuals, and never saved it.
Right.
Like it's on Instagram for 24 hours and that was it.
And then it's gone.
Literally. And I had it's going on a year of me doing these Mindset Mondays. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, it's gone. You know what I mean? No way to get it in the archives or anything like that. Queen Mika Joy, Queen Miss Necessary, what they do, you're not going to want to miss this Mindset Monday today, y'all. Y'all going to want to stay on and stay tuned. So anyway, yeah, I realized that. So I said, yeah, I got the, you know what I mean? I got the archive these and document them because it's just too much. Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what I do now. So now I screen record it and then go ahead and put it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Okay,
definitely. I'm gonna follow you back too. Okay, so now tax time. Where do I begin? So I want to first talk about some of the things the people should be doing. Then some of the things the people should not be doing. Then I want to go into the different business types and the pros and the cons for people who may just be starting and they could have some information going into next year.
Okay.
So what are some of the things people should not be doing? Let's start with should not be doing right now. It's tax time. Yeah, they might be dealing with H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, 9 dependents, you know, I don't know, commingling funds. I don't know where to start, King. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like you know already. But no, I mean, you named it. I'll say this, right? Nobody should lie to the IRS. It's too much on the line when it comes to lying to IRS. File a truthful and honest tax return. So that way you never can get jammed up later in the future. And also, a lot of people are afraid of the IRS. Yeah, the alphabet boys cause a lot of problems. But again, as long as your stuff is right and exact and in order, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have any problems. So just Do it right the right way. I just read an article the other day about some brothers who got almost a $1 million refund check from the IRS. They deposited it, and then they took it out the bank and they deposited it somewhere else. I guess they were trying to get caught, but they wound up getting some years behind that. And the IRS is going to take all the money back, and they got a penalty they got to pay. So at the end of the day, after all that, trying to be slick, and listen, I ain't saying that you shouldn't know the rules so you can kind of bend the rules for you. But when you're doing something outright illegal, it's not worth it. The majority of people that follow you, the majority of people that follow me, are people that are black or of color. Some people, we already know what they're sitting for. We don't need to smoke. Seriously. Just do it right from the get-go. Concentrate on the positivity and elevation, and then go from there. Because, again, I've seen people get away with stuff for a long time. And then karma somehow comes back to get them. And then it's all downhill from there. So I could also say don't use those other big box stores who I won't repeat because I don't like giving them free advertisement.
Okay, and that's what I was going to get into because, you know, this is your realm. So when you say do the right thing and don't do the wrong thing, 9 times out of 10, we don't know what's right from we don't know what's wrong.
Okay. So I disagree, but I know where you're going, and I feel you. I feel you.
Now, I'm not talking about somebody saying, "Hey, let me use your dependents" like that.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your average person who doesn't know anything else beside H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give them promo, but you know they don't know about, you know what I'm saying, these franchise. They don't know nothing more than these franchise stores. So they figure that they're safe with that. And I've heard, you know, recently some stories where people, you know what I'm saying, got messed up even through those entities and whatnot. So they don't know what's right, what's wrong. They don't know a Schedule C from CBD. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do they begin at, and what is the balance that they could use between saying, hey, I know enough to have my shit together, but I'm not trying to go and download TurboTax and do it myself? Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. So I want to kind of frame it like this, right? When I talk about tax, and I know when you talk about money in general, we're always talking about elevating and increasing our wealth, right? So I want people to realize that taxes is the number one enemy to wealth creation. Now, to answer your question about, you know, what should people be thinking about? So and I also want to say this: your biggest tax benefit is going to be that of a business owner or that of an investor, especially a real estate investor. So you want to, if you are serious about becoming wealthy, you want to align your tax, your business, your investing with the tax code. So to go back to what you're saying, so it's January 27th. It's actually the first day of the tax season because IRS has started accepting tax returns today. So if you are a regular, everyday 9-to-5 worker, you should have your W-2. If you have a side hustle, you want to make sure you have all that documented and give that to your preparer. You want to understand what a write-off is, what a tax deduction is, right? And that's usually anything that's what the IRS will say is normal and necessary, or ordinary and necessary to running your business, right? So, for example, I know you're doing trucking now. You're doing some hauling. So you spend money on tires, probably. You spend money on maintenance. You spend money on maybe even a cushion for your seat, right? All of those things we can say are pretty ordinary and necessary for driving. Now, I don't know what kind of route you're doing. I just know you're in that business. Those are all the things that would generally be a tax write-off for your business. And that's at the very surface level.
Okay, that would be like tolls as well, too.
Yes, absolutely, tolls as well. Yep. Gas, sometimes depreciation, or maybe your lease payment, you could potentially write that off. But the key here is making sure you have good good records, keeping really good records into a bookkeeping system like a QuickBooks, and there's a couple others out there.
Now, if individuals are not keeping those records, can they use credit card statements, or they need to go through the credit card statements and put that into the system, or pay somebody? To my understanding, is a bookkeeper, which is a separate fee or a separate service, to my understanding, than the actual individual who's filing. Is that correct?
Most times, yes. You tend to have a bookkeeper. So if I'm going to use me, there are some clients who I actually handle the books for. And I handle their tax returns. I do it all in-house. And I'm actually thinking about only doing, for business owners, it's just for business owners, and I'm actually thinking about only doing the taxes for business owners whose books I handle. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm thinking through it because there's less of a risk involved. When you're a business owner, you're always thinking about the risk. And so the reason why I'm thinking about that is because even when you have these bookkeeping systems, many times people don't understand how to do them, how to use them properly. They don't understand the accounting that goes behind it. But yes, you could have a bookkeeper and you can have an accountant. Depending upon the level of your business, how intricate it is, how complex it is, will dictate if you need one versus the other. Because, I actually suggest everybody that's first starting off to actually do their books and try to understand it, because accounting is the language of business. And the better you understand accounting, the better business person you'll be. You ain't got to be the expert, but I do like to have them kind of go on it maybe for 2 or 3 months, understand it, because once you have an understanding, you can really appreciate the power of having good books. Anytime, and I know we may go on for a little bit of a tangent, one of the things I struggle with is cash-dependent businesses. Your barbershops, your hair salons, a lot of times they don't want to file their taxes because they mainly deal with cash. A lot of them, not all of them, right? But they don't understand that it's going to take them a while to get a car if they want to finance it. It's going to take them a while to get a mortgage if they don't do their taxes properly and in orderly. Now, there's some other cheat code things that you can do in the interim, but at the very basic, you want to be filing your taxes and hopefully keeping the good books. But, that it takes a commitment, just like anything else.
So now, what about individuals who just started a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
They funded their business through their personal finances, because that's how businesses usually start.
Right.
So how does that work on either side of it? Is that they funded their business on a personal side, so is that a write-off on their personal side? And is that also fund their business, a write-off from the business side? And someone asked, how do you keep good records with like Cash App and stuff?
Yeah, I saw it. All right, so let's go back to the very basics. You got a business,
Okay.
right? What should you do? I would suggest everybody have a separate bank account, preferably a business bank account. I'm not going to argue with you over the fees, though, on business versus personal. I would suggest you get a business account.
Absolutely.
Everything that you do for that business, let's call it trades trucking. Everything that you do on trades trucking should go in that business account. Every fee or check that you get, any cash app that you get, should go into that bank account. Anytime you spend money, should come out of that business bank account as well. Now, if you have a cash app, that's fine. You can do a cash app, a business cash app. I actually like cash app. You can collect fees on a cash app. It'll keep a log of everybody you're accepting money from. But I would, again, suggest that you record those at the time of you doing it. Also, I would not, so you can use Cash App, PayPal, what's the other one? Who owns Cash App?
Zelle.
Square. Yeah, and even Zelle. I'm not sure if Zelle as a business function though. But Venmo, all of them, for the most part, you are able to start a business type account. I wouldn't use that account as a bank, because some people use their PayPal and their Cash App as their own separate bank. It creates havoc when you're doing your books. I would just use it as kind of a like a credit card or a merchant account. Put all the money in, have all the money be taken out of your account, your bank account, when you're paying for stuff through Cash App or PayPal. Same thing. When you get any payments in the Cash App, pull them right directly in to your bank account as well. It's really good. It's pretty easy. You can even avoid fees on Cash App. Don't do the instant. Don't do the instant deposit. Wait a day or two, right? Hopefully you're not, if you're struggling, obviously do the instant and pay the fee. But obviously, hopefully you got some money stacked up where you can avoid those fees, because they might be 50 cents or $1 at a time, but over a year they add up. By the way, they're tax deductible too, but we want to try to keep as much money in our pocket as possible. So start from there, do that. Then again, keep a record of everything. And then once you get in the habit of doing that, you can then go into a QuickBooks or FreshBooks or whatever type of business you have, and use the software that's best for your business. And then you can set everything up. But again, I get some people who just want to spend money on tax deductions, quote unquote, tax deductions. That's a bad idea, right? For example, if you spend $1, right, typically you're only going to get maybe a 30 or 25% benefit from that $1 you spent. So make sure that all the money you're spending is supporting the business and helping you grow your revenue. You really only want to spend money in your business on growing your revenue. Now, as you get profitable, that's a different story. Then we can get freaky with it. We can do some other advanced strategies. We can set up some retirement accounts. We can do some what they call income shifting. Where you wash my hands? Right. So if you wanted to pay your daughter, right, you could potentially do that. Everybody's been talking about that, but you got to do it right. Because if you don't do it right, it gets you in a world of trouble. So, just do it right from the start. Business account, have all the business money flow in, have all the business money flow out. Try to keep good records, and then, you can take it from there. And it makes it easier when tax time comes around, because then you can easily summarize everything and file your taxes, or pay someone to file your taxes for you.
She says, can you speak to it from transitioning to business accounts from personal when you still have a 9-to-5? Use personal accounts to buy things for the business, I'm assuming, because don't generate a lot of income to the business account at once.
You can do that. You can transfer. You can absolutely use personal funds to buy business, but I strongly recommend you not doing that. Because then people get into the habit of commingling funds. You don't want to do that, especially when we start talking about creating LLCs, S corps, and corporations. You really don't want to commingle any money or whatsoever. But yes, you can do it. Keep your receipts, keep good records. Make sure you're able to tally down. And now you're giving me an idea. Maybe I should do a bookkeeper's course for new businesses. Because it's really not that hard, but you do need to know certain things.
That course is needed, King. When you drop that course, we're gonna speak it into existence. Listen, you're free to come on my platform and promote anytime you want, but that is a resource that we need. You know what I mean? That is a resource that we need, because we don't understand this stuff. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to speak for myself, and I'm going to speak for the people. We don't understand this stuff. We don't like them peoples. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to deal, just as us in general, we don't like to deal with them peoples anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like even myself, I'm still learning a lot of concepts, right? So a lot of times these Mindset Mondays, I'm learning along with everybody else as well too,
Right.
you know, I got my different niches that I deal with, you know, like the credit and, you know, the investments and stuff. The trucking is an investment, you know, even though it's a business.
Absolutely.
The way it's set up is, you know, more, it's a business, but it's still like an investment in a sense, because it's not, I'm not active, I'm not driving, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, so it's like, we don't know this realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know this realm. So it's like, okay, like the queen is saying, she's like, what's the difference? What's the difference between funding your business and commingling funds? You get what I'm saying? In the sense of that, okay, I know I'm not supposed to go grocery shopping and buy little BS with the money from my business account. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People do it here and there, whatever the case may be, but
and that's human,
I get that part.
Yeah, that's human. That's what's going to happen. You just have to, you got to document it properly. That's all. But what happens is when people commingle funds, so we got trades trucking, right? So trades trucking makes, hypothetically, I ain't trying to put you on blast, but let's say trades trucking makes $1,000 a month, right? But then trades trucking pays his personal car note out of the business account, and then pays his personal apartment or house note out of there, whether it be rent or mortgage, whatever, out of that business account. What should happen, right, is that trades trucking should write you a check personally that you go into your account, and they call that a personal draw, right? And I'm assuming that everybody's just an S corp, sole proprietor S corp. You fill out, excuse me, not an S corp, a Schedule C. You do a Schedule C tax return, which is a part of your overall personal tax return, and so it's nothing fancy. By the way, you don't need an EIN, an LLC, S corp, corporation to start a business. You can start a business with your own personal Social Security number. All right, the reason to do that.
But you don't got no protection, though, correct?
Right, but a lot of us don't have nothing to protect, and I'm not saying that to be shady. I'm saying that if you grind it from the bottom and you're coming up from the mud and you don't have anything, what exactly are you protecting? Right? To me, it's better to get going, get the momentum, and then you can switch over if you see if it's a really viable idea and venture, especially for a lot of my first time folks. Because here's what happens. The lawyers and some of the other, I'll say creative accountants out there will sell you on a service with all these different entities, and they'll get you out of $1,000, $2,000. That same $1,000, $2,000 could have been used to buy product, to buy inventory, to spend money on marketing, to help you get money first. So the rule of business, money that you spend should be used to make you money. Every dollar that you spend, you should be saying, how can I get $1 for $2, right? If I spend $1, can I get $2? If I spend $1, can I get $5? If I spend $1 and get $10, whatever your situation is. Not just to get all these complicated quote unquote tax strategies. It's not a great return. Because again, like you said, most of us have no idea what you're doing. And by the way, when you get all this complicated stuff, it costs a lot of money to maintain. And if you're starting from zero, and then you didn't know you got to maintain this bill, it's just more stress. And so again, I just went off on a rant on you a little bit because those are some of the things that come up.
We need this. We need this.
But again, the commingling, right, versus funding. And so if you're just funding your business, this is what I tell people to do. And again, hypothetical. Let's say my mom cakes and pies, right? My mom make the best apple pie, sweet potato pie, whatever it may be. I love apple pie, sweet potato pie. That's why I'm bringing it up. So my mom, Nana, got it perfected. Everybody loves it. I love it. I want to spend money on it. I want to get it out the street. So I'm going to say, my mom, put $100 up every time you get paid. And let's create a separate business account. And just fund it every time you get paid. And in the interim, we're going to figure out how to market this. Maybe I'll give my mom $50. Make $50 worth of pies, my mom. And we're going to go out and we're going to just give away samples. And then we're going to video record people's reactions to the pie. Candid, honest, recording it. And then we're going to share it on our social. And we're going to let everybody know. And listen, my mom needed a new house, my mom needed a new car. Let's help my mom. She got something that's valuable. We ain't begging. We give them something of value. And that's how we want to rock it from there. And so again, you could just take $100 every time my mom get paid. My mom's selling pies on the weekend, cakes on the weekend. And then after she gets enough money built up, she can say, all right, this is sustainable now. So that's called capitalizing your business or funding your business. Those are the terms for it. But yeah, selling dinners, taxi services or Uber or your own personal service, whatever it is, starting a restaurant, getting into real estate, the fundamentals are kind of the fundamentals. And when you put that money away, it helps give you opportunity or leverage to do other things. Now, if you're just scraping to survive at this time and you like, man, all I got is $50, just take the $50, make the pies, and then we'll figure out the rest later. But, sometimes we overcomplicate things. And we already know this stuff. I mean, if we want to talk street stuff, we can talk street stuff. I'm to the stay away from it because I feel like we got an overabundance of street talk. And, we can do more than that. But, you can buy a case of water for $5. You get the corner and you flip it. You go back, you re-up, you go buy 2 cases. You flip it. You come back, you re-up, and you do it again. And then you can start your business account, and then you can operate a quote-unquote legitimate business. But guess what? That's legitimate, too. Ain't nothing wrong with selling water on the corner. Now, you might have some problems with some of the local authorities because sometimes they want you to have licensing and things like that.
Yeah.
Permit, thank you. Permits, exactly. But for the most part, everybody can do that. We oversimplify it. And so going back to the tax, if you got a 9-to-5, right? And let me say this. I've seen a lot of job shaming out here. Ain't nothing wrong with having a job. Use your job to fund your dream. It's okay to have a job, a 9-to-5, especially if you love what you do and you love the place you work. Now, if you don't, you need to expeditiously get an exit plan to get out of that joint. But if you like your job and you want more, it's okay to do that and then have a side hustle to do more. We've always had side hustles, always. And then you can figure out how to turn that side hustle into a real business or, all at the same time. And guess what? That'll give you some of the ultimate write-offs. That'll really help you. So if you work at a regular 9-to-5 job, and let's say you're doing it out of your home, you're getting into what's called a home office expense, where you get to write off a portion of your home office. Now, I'm only talking legitimate stuff. People out here be talking, writing off all kind of things, only legitimate things. But you can write off a percentage of your mortgage or your rent. You can write off a percentage of your real estate tax. You can write off a percentage of your utility bills. You can write off a lot of those things. And those things will help your 9-to-5 job, help you increase what you take on from your 9-to-5 job. Because most businesses that start out aren't profitable. But they
I got a question. Queen Erica Classy Climb, what they do. Got to get you on this Mindset Monday too, Queen. We're going to have to link up. Now I got a question, right? So part of my spiel is pennies to dollars, dollars to leverage, leverage yourself to freedom, right? So,
I love it.
Part of what I assist with is, individuals, creative consultant, helping people get some personal credit to fund, have startup capital for their business. So now something that I haven't spoke about is person uses their credit card to fund their business. How does that work for them on the personal side as far as taxes is concerned? And how does that work for them on the business side as far as taxes is concerned?
So they use their personal credit card to pay for business.
Fund their business, yeah. You
can do that. You can absolutely do that. You just got to keep detailed records. I wouldn't do it for too long, but you could absolutely do it. And you need and you got to be able to document. You got to be able to document that it's an ordinary and necessary expense. So if you decide to go to Cancun or Australia, and there's absolutely no business reason for you to go there, if you are to get audited by the IRS, they would do what's called disallow. Now, if you do have a legitimate business purpose and you can document it, it's a legitimate write-off. But again, the way you bulletproof. All right, so when I do a tax return, I'm always thinking about the IRS. Will it stand up to the defense of an IRS audit? Because I've been through a couple of them. They're not nice. They want to know everything when you get to there. So I want to be able to document how good this, or I want to be able to document the expense. Same thing, let's say, Trey, I come down to Florida. We go to lunch. Now that we go to lunch, is to bust it up? Or did we talk about business? Because a lot of people like to write off their meals, right? Mm-hmm. So number one, I can only write off 50% of the meal. The IRS doesn't want you to feed yourself and try to write it off because you have to feed yourself anyway. What's the business benefit in that? But I'm out talking. You just offered me your platform to use. So I'd say, all right, we went out to business to talk about my launch of this bookkeeping class or seminar or whatever I'm going to do. I write on the receipt. I take a picture of that receipt. I save it into my QuickBooks. And then if I'm ever audited, boom, I have documentation from A to Z. From the actual expense, so I classified it in QuickBooks.
Okay,
so
now
you can do this. And to answer your question, you can do the same thing with your personal credit card.
So on the personal side, they took off some money on their credit card to fund their business, right? And it hasn't all been returned back yet. Is that some type of write-off on the personal side saying, hey, I used some credit to fund this business over here, so I technically didn't make so much money because I used so much money as a startup capital type of situation? Is that a potential write-off on the personal side? A, and then someone also asked, is the interest rate on that credit card tax deductible as well?
So exactly, interest is tax deductible. Well, let's back up, right?
Okay.
So
oh, he froze up. Did I freeze up or did he freeze up? Did I freeze up? Who froze up? Because I can still see mine. Okay. Did he froze up? Okay, no problem. I was did I freeze up or did he freeze up?
No, it was me. It was all me. So so to answer your question, yes, you can use the expenses that you spent on your personal card, right? You can absolutely do that. It's not best practice, but you can absolutely do that. You just have to document it. You have to show that it was not a personal expense if you were ever audited. All right. It's also the other thing that will come into play a little bit is depending upon, answer your question, the other thing that will come into play is what type of tax return you're filing. So if you're a regular sole proprietor filing Schedule C like we talked about earlier, some of your stuff may come up personally anyway, because the Schedule C is an extension of your personal return. It's a personal return. So you could say, listen, I did this on my own using a credit card, and I just wrote off everything. You can do that. You can write off the interest that you paid as well. Hopefully, good credit practices, you can pay the stuff off within 30 to 60 days. But if not, yes, you can write it off. The tricky thing is going to be is if an auditor, right, because I'm dealing with worst case scenario, if an auditor tries to say, well, you tried to write off when you went to the Miami Heat game or the Dolphins game or Super Bowl, something like that, you want to just be able to show that that's not the case and just really have it well documented in detail on what you spent on that credit card.
Okay. What about someone says, what about an LLC?
You can have an LLC. Well, what's the question? Should you get an LLC about taxes with an LLC?
No. If you used your personal credit card to fund an LLC, can you still write it off on your personal taxes?
Yes. And here's a quick little fun fact. Most LLCs, and I don't want to be too technical, but I want to tell the truth. Most LLCs still get reported on your personal tax return because they are what's called a single member LLC. Mm-hmm. And so the IRS considers that a sole proprietorship unless you change your designation. But I don't want to go too deep in that because it's very technical. I don't want to put anybody to sleep.
Okay, so now let's go into that. I have a sole proprietor LLC thanks to Camari. Yes, sir. He'll get you straight. He'll get you straight. I told you I'm not going to want to miss this. So now let's go into this whole LLC, sole proprietor, C Corp, S Corp. We'll just deal with those four, right? What is the benefits and what are the pros and what are the cons? Someone says when is the master class?
It's funny, I just did another stock market 101 course I'm about to drop because I'm about to relaunch my Financial Rebel Academy. But I might do some master classes on tax, especially tax season. But what's the difference? All right, so let's start, right?
What's the difference and what's the pros and the cons? Because you know, we just LLC'd out here for the most part. You know what I'm saying? You might have a DBA here or there, which is a doing business as, for anybody who don't know. You know what I'm saying? Trade Snatch doing business as the Black Lotus brand, even though that's not what it is, but I'm just giving you an example. But what are the differences and what are the pros and the cons? Because everybody always be, well, it's between your personal situation or whatever. Like, nigga, all our situations is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They're not the same.
I hate those Jesus parable answers. I hate that shit. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like,
but you know
I don't be wanting to hear that, bruh. Tell me what's the deal. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what though? I mean, I know you got a lovely little girl, right? Every child is different. These businesses are like children. They're different. They're all different. They all have different learning styles. They all have different diets. They're all different. They got different needs. They got different sleeping patterns. Your business is the same way. You got some people who only do their business at night. You got some people who only do their business during the day, right? They're all different. They have different seasons. But I'm going to try my best to answer your question because I'm notorious for telling folks it depends because it does.
See?
And right. No, but hold on. But this is what I'll say. You throw a scenario at me, and I will give you an answer. But and I don't like the people that give blanket answers, right? Because what works for Warren Buffett ain't gonna work for me, ain't gonna work for you. It's like the MLM people, right? No shade to anybody that does MLMs on here, but they're always saying you need 7, and you might hate this, but you need 7 streams of income to be rich, or right? But most people that got rich or wealthy, they started with 1, and they took from that 1, and then they built their 7. So you got to do what can get you to wealthy, not necessarily what the wealthy are doing. They're 2 different things, and you got to move. It's just like, all right, and I might sound like I'm all over the place, but we've been following each other for a while. You were overweighted at one point, right?
Yeah.
You dropped that weight. You got in the dojo, as you say, the dojo.
Yeah.
And did the work. Could you do the workout you're doing now when you were overweight?
Oh, no.
Circumstances changed, right? Just like a business. So when you're a business and you fresh out or starting out from the mud, it might be okay to be a sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is just for people that may want to test out an idea, may not have a whole lot of money, may not have a whole lot of experience in business, but they want to test it out. Anybody can start a business. Anybody can be a sole proprietorship. You can use your social security number, or you can also apply to the IRS to get an EIN number for your sole proprietorship. Then let's say you get a little fancy, you make some money, you pop it. I'm going to do an LLC now. And if you are profitable, right, really profitable, and like have a track record and have a process, like you have a business. Because let's be honest, most people don't have a business. A business can run on its own without its owner. Most people are self-employed. They just have another type of job. And again, that's okay. There's no judgment here. I'm just laying out all the facts of what I see, right? They just have a job. And so you say, all right, I don't have a process yet, so I'm just going to stay in LLC for a while. But then you develop a process. You make a little bit more money. You become a corporation, right? An S corporation gives you a little bit more tax benefit. There is no real tax benefit between the sole member LLC and the sole proprietor. However, and I hope everybody's able to follow along, jump in and ask me a question if I lost y'all. The difference when you get an LLC that's a regular LLC, you can then protect any assets you might have. So if you own a home, if you already have another established business somewhere, if maybe you have some money in trust or whatever your situation is, you want to protect those assets from the business that you're currently doing now, any of the risk that you're taking on in the business. Because listen, we're great about talking about the potential of making money. We never talk about the downside. Some people may label that as being negative. It's not being negative, it's understanding your landscape. You always talk about Sun Tzu, right? Know your landscape, know the theater, and the theater is where you're waging war. So you got to understand everything that's going on. Everything that's going on that can potentially happen. I'm not talking about getting analysis paralysis, but at least thinking through and going through everything that you might have going on. So if you think through it and you say, you know what, I got a property, I got some rental property, and I don't want to risk losing those. Even if Nana might have left them a property when she passed away, I don't want to put that in jeopardy. So I'm going to now create this LLC to make sure that I do everything. But guess what? Even if you have an LLC or corporation, you can still mess it up, whereas though people can attack your personal assets. So they have what's called piercing the veil. Piercing the veil of a corporation. It also extends to an LLC. So if you run, you need to tell your baby. So if you run your business like it's basically you, or as a hobby where you're spending money in and out of your business account for your personal expenses, and you're not doing it in a succinct and clear way, you know what? This business is just a front, and they'll use that. They'll use piercing the veil with a lot of companies that are doing illegal activities. They'll use piercing the veil sometimes when people aren't properly insured because they're trying to get to all the money. So you got to be careful about that. But again, like I said, you just said all of us is the same, right? I'll say for everybody that's really coming from the mud, don't worry about that. Don't worry about getting an LLC. Don't worry about getting an S Corp. Don't worry about getting a C Corp. Just run your business and do it honorably, with integrity. Treat your people good, keep good records, and then go from there.
Okay. That, by far, King, was the best explanation I've ever heard anyone say when it comes to that. Thank you so much for that. I'm just being honest, like no BS aside, you know what I'm saying? That was the best explanation, because even myself, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, everyone who I've seen do a live, I ask questions about, they give me that Jesus parable. If they would explain it just like that, hey, you just starting out, hey, you could, you know what I'm saying, just get your money first, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You trying to figure it out, worst case scenario, do a little sole proprietorship, you trying to do a little side hustle, something like that. It started to make money, you start to do a little something, all right, do an LLC. All right, now you got a process, you got a system in place that's starting to generate income. Now go to the S Corp level and think, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean,
that makes sense.
There's levels to it. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? I mean, I think you know me well enough, that I ain't out here just trying to sell. I mean, people be like, Camari, why don't you have like 20,000 followers? I'm like, I don't know. But I'll just give y'all, I'm being authentic in what I do. And I know that word is being severely overused these days. But I tell people when I get on here, I tell folks when I get on live or when I'm online, I'm no different than I am in person. Mm-hmm. If I wouldn't say something to you in real life, I'm not going to say it to you online, right? And two, I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to advise you to do something online that I wouldn't advise a paying client to do. Now, because why? My name is everything. There's only two Camari Ellises in this world, and that's me and my son. I can't run that far. I can't run that far, right? The internet will have you dead before you even get home at night, and you're still alive. So, you know, I'm just, I guess I'm old school to a certain extent. I believe in trying to do what I say. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. I got faults, but I try. Put a whole bunch in. I know you do credit, right? But I believe you do credit honorably. There's a lot of folks that do credit repair that's not honorable, right? But you'll never really see me do credit or talk about credit. That's not my thing, and I've had a lot of bad experiences with it. And I only try to work with, I don't like the fad stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of fad stuff jumping around. I'm seeing people talking about LLCs. I'm seeing people talking about corporations. You need a corporation. I saw one guy the other day say C Corps is the best type of entity or business structure to have. And I'm like, man, when some of y'all organize or structure in a state like California, that bangs you $800 across the head every year, whether you're profitable or not. Nobody's telling you that.
Yeah.
Even with some of these LLCs, part of the reason why I tell a lot of people not to get LLCs is because the state registration oftentimes is anywhere from like $25 every year to, I think,
$125. Excuse me. Hold on. I just paid them people $138.75 for the state of Florida a year.
But ain't nobody talking about that. And so that's what I mean. I mean, I'm not trying to get up here and blow my own horn. But listen, I got kids, I got a wife. I'm not trying to be out here on craziness and like have nobody shout me out. And I mean, again, that's just how I was raised. I mean, I don't want that. I want to be a change of positivity. I want to be a voice of positivity. So to me, in order to do that, you got to tell all the facts. And if I got to tell you, Trey, everybody's situation is different, and I might piss you off a little bit. Well, as men, we got to work through that. And I ain't trying to offend you. I'm just being honest with you, right?
No, absolutely. No, I understand it, and I do understand the concept of everybody's industry is different, everybody's business is different, things of that nature. I get that.
Right.
However, if they say, just like how you said it, hey, everybody's business is different, but in a nutshell, it works like this. Here's level, ground level, here's this, and then here's this. Okay, that makes sense. You know, because what that will do is, in my opinion, and I think I like to speak for the people in a lot of contexts, that'll get them started.
Right.
That'll get them moving, taking action and moving toward their goal, opposed to having paralysis of analysis or using their little bit of startup hustle capital to get the LLC and, you know, or whatever.
Then they got a bill coming that they didn't even realize.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So if it's broke down, that's a post for you, to be honest, or that's a whole series or even a course, however you want to say it, because that was like the realest, that was like on some Pac level stuff to me. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because seriously, because I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real, you know, because that's not, I know crafts or procedures, if you will, in a sense, like let's say credit, like I studied it, you know, there's no school for it, but I studied the craft of it in law, Black's Law Dictionary, and learned processes that were effective and lawful, if you will. But to structure the business around it, you know, everything, I'm more of a creative, so I'm really learning this other side of the brain when it comes to this business and the numbers thing, and it ain't all that easy for me, to be honest, because I'm a creative, like I'm a writer, I'm a rapper, so now I'm around all of these, you know what I'm saying? So,
creatives control the narrative. You got it more than you realize. And by the way, I just realized you actually got bars, so salutes to you.
Oh, appreciate that, King.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know the craft, but then like, even with like, let's just say credit, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I know the craft. I know how to, you know, give you the strategic structure to accomplish your goal, whatever it may be, whether you want to buy a house, a car, whether you want to get the funding for, you know, startup capital, working capital, fine. But structuring a business around it in the sense of, okay, well, there's softwares that you could use to help, you know what I'm saying, help the process. These things could be written off. What's the actual business type in order to create the structure and everything around it? You know what I'm saying? These are the things that, you know, we don't know. And I can speak across the board for rappers, writers, producers, chefs, cooks, whatever it may be. I deal with multiplicity of creatives. You know what I mean? So this information to me and to us is priceless, King, invaluable, you know, and not, you know what I'm saying? And not, because we don't know it. We don't know this stuff.
I'm here to serve. That's, so for the record, I've always been in and around business because of my father. So salute to him, right? But the reason why I took a deeper dive into it the way I did was because I always wanted to help our community, because I always thought the biggest problem in the Black community was money. I was wrong. It's one of the biggest, but I figured that would be my way to give a contribution back to the community. So I'm always out speaking. I'm always out uplifting, giving away free stuff. I'm always trying to help, because I do feel that the stronger we are financially, the better we'll be as a community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said earlier, the IRS is the biggest enemy of wealth creation. You know what I mean? So it's like, from all the people in their perspective things, what they're speaking about, J Baby, what they do, SL, FX trade, and what they do. Y'all want to know about Forex trade, and make sure you follow the queen. She is the real deal, Holyfield. All right, I'm gonna give you a snack as soon as I get off the live, okay? Dang, I lost my train of thought.
That's because baby wants some attention.
You know how that go, King. You know how.
I know.
So we, you know, we don't know these things, and you bringing this to the market, and nobody's talking about it. Like there's a couple of attacks. There's a lot of people talking about a lot of different things, from credit to trucking, trading to real estate, but very few people are talking about taxes and putting it in a more or less simplistic terms to be relatable and palatable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I worked at that. I mean, I think, so again, I kind of told you why I got into it, right? Because I wanted to do more as a community. And I feel the first defense of financial education / financial literacy is the taxpayer. That's who, in our community, who we usually go to first about any financial transaction. And I feel like just there is so much wealth and gems that can be delivered, but they're not. You brought up the other big box stores, right, that people do their taxes at. Have you ever Googled them and see how many billion-dollar lawsuits that they've had? It's ridiculous. And it's like, we still go there. And there's credible people. I'm not the only one. There's credible people all around the country in our communities that would do a much better job at servicing our people than a lot of these big box shops. Now, I ain't gonna say all of them, because some of them are owned by us, but the large majority of them are not, in my opinion, are not a true steward. Like, stewardship is a big word to me. They're not truly good stewards of their clients, in my opinion.
Now, let me know how true this is. I was told and I heard that, let's say they F up your taxes. You're still responsible even though they're the ones that did it. Is that true or not true?
That is true. That is absolutely true. Here's the caveat. So let's say I caused you to get, let's say you owed $1,000 in taxes, right? And when you came to me, I did something wrong that caused you to get an extra penalty or an extra interest. I am liable for that. Matter of fact, it's keeping it all the way funky. I just paid one of my clients $168 because their return did not go through because my technology didn't transmit it. And I just found out about it. So he had to pay what he had to pay, the principal, but I was responsible for the penalty and the interest that accrued. And that's just, being transparent. I didn't know about it. I didn't discover it until later. When I discovered it, I made right by it.
But like with the big box stores, you know what I'm saying? Like the green one, for anybody who's going on. We not giving nobody no promo on here. You know what I'm saying?
You feel me on there, right?
Yeah, straight up. But like you know, when you think of taxes, you think about these big box stores like the green
They got the
logo and the
market.
red logo. If they F up somebody's taxes, that individual is still responsible for their taxes and that box store is not responsible. Is that correct or is that incorrect?
So the individual, the taxpayer, is always responsible, right?
Even though they went to this commercial franchise tax place and entrusted this individual who's supposed to whoop-de-wop-de-wop.
No matter what, it's just, so I'll give you an example. You brought up buying people's dependents, right?
Uh-huh.
People are still buying dependents to this day so they can get the earned income tax credit. If they get caught, it's on them. Now, and there's a lot of different scenarios, but I'm gonna paint this one out for you because I've seen it and I've kind of lived through it. I lost clients years ago to this lady who could guarantee people getting a higher tax refund. Part of what they were doing was they were selling off dependents, and the tax preparer was kind of facilitating it. So the IRS noticed this irregularity of all these people getting these super duper high refunds. And then he noticed the pattern that these kids ain't even the kids. They figured that out. So what happened was they audited the taxpayer, the tax preparers, the accountants, all their clients, or a large set of their clients. The people who partook in it because they knew what they were doing still had to pay back whatever they got extra. So under the law, you cannot be enriched unduly under the law. So they had to pay back whatever they got to the IRS and to the U.S. government. The tax preparer got fined. Matter of fact, I think she went to jail. But it still ultimately comes down to the tax preparer. I know that seems shady. I know that seems unfair. But at the end of the day, all the responsibility still comes back to the taxpayer, to the taxpayer, to the individual, to the client.
Regardless of who prepared it. Because that's like basically like how Fat Joe went to jail for a year because his accountant was doing some stuff that wasn't correct and he still was responsible, even though I heard somebody saying they should make some type of law to where the accountants are responsible or liable for stuff like that opposed to the individual. You know what I mean? Because like in that situation, and most people's situation, they're like, big box store or accountant. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I rap. You know what I'm saying? I cook. I do whatever it is, you do taxes. So, right. Here you go. And they mess it up. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like Fat Joe, he had to do a year and a day for that.
Fat Joe
and pay $1 million, I think.
I mean, there's a lot of folks who went to jail now. Their situations and Fat Joe's situations are more exaggerated. They became criminal cases. Usually when you owe some bread, it doesn't become a criminal case unless it's like totally ignored and they find some other things going on. But to your point, yes, you have to be very vigilant about who you trust to work on your stuff, who you trust to work on your taxes, who you trust with your investments, who you even learn from. I mean, again, I ain't trying to go on no tangent, but there's a lot of people out here professing things and our community loves them, but they're straight up racist. Straight up racist. And those people, to me, should
You said racist?
Yes. Yeah, I ain't saying no names. We can talk about that offline.
Okay.
But we give them a lot of burn. I mean, there's a lot of people out here who's got a track record of doing people wrong, owing them money. Again, not no accidents, no mistakes, but I'm talking about a long trail of doing people wrong. And they still get burned. They still get love. So, I don't know.
Queen Sunny Speaks says she's here for all the tangents.
Well, I'm getting old. Y'all see, I done lost all my hair, so I got stories. I got plenty of them. I just don't want to bore nobody to death.
Nah, King, we here for it, man. I told everybody, man, this is a live that y'all are not gonna want to miss because we need this information, King. You know what I'm saying? Like we on all levels, from out the mud to people doing, a lot of online business.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whether it be, digital products, literature, courses, different things like that. People's making a lot of money. And like you said, we don't know who to trust. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Right.
Instagram thing, it's like Kanye, it's a beautiful, twisted fantasy nightmare.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Because it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying, and it looks all great on the gram. And I fell victim to the, you know what I'm saying,
Oh, really?
you know what I'm saying, drinking of the Kool-Aid from the charlatan chalice. You understand what I'm saying?
It happened.
Like I've drank from the Kool-Aid and was gone off the Kool-Aid. So it's like, you know, you don't know who's real from who's a charlatan, who's blowing smoke, who, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just,
Right.
it's just, you know, you just don't know who to trust. So it's one thing to feed into, calm down, baby. It's one thing to subscribe to someone's narrative. She said David Koresh head ass niggas. Yeah, I know she's okay. Hold on, baby. It's one thing to subscribe to the narrative. It's another thing to trust the individual with your social and your all your expenses and access to personal information. You know what I'm saying? So,
But I tell people all the time. I say, watch folks, right? You know how they say wealth is quiet. Now, we in this new age where we got some flashy people online. But for the most part, and there are some flashy people who are legitimate. I think Diddy's kind of flashy, right? But he's legitimate, right? So I know we can't overgeneralize everybody.
mm-hmm.
But for the most part, just watch people. Something will come up and you'll see how they respond to it. And that's when you'll get your revelation. I mean, you never really learn about a person when the times are good. But see how they react when things are bad and something goes wrong. That really tells you what kind of juice is in that orange, you know. So then you gotta figure that out. And I mean, I've seen, because I work with clients, because accounting is kind of my background.
Hold on 1 second. Good night, SLFX Trading. Holla at me. This whole live will be up for 24 hours, as well as I screen record all the Mindset Mondays now, and they'll be on my YouTube channel. So if anything you miss, you'll be able to go to my YouTube channel and check it out. But go ahead.
I lost my thought. Wow. So I work with people of various social economic stature, and those who have more means have literally told me they've watched me. They've watched me on radio. They've watched me on TV. Sometimes they've watched me to see how consistent I was and how I approach things. And so I tell people, I echo that to a lot of people, just watch folks, because you'll see a trail of people or things that just ain't right. I mean, you know, that'll be another live. We can talk about that. But,
I think, yeah, as soon as I get off the live, it's gonna be dinner time, baby.
But I want to have some now.
Okay, as soon as I get off, baby. I think that you should do a whole series on the different structures. I ain't gonna lie. Now that I don't know if it'll be a class or maybe a YouTube or something like that. But
you know what? I got that already on free on my YouTube.
Oh, really?
I got an interview with a lawyer, a tax attorney on there, and I got it there. I mean, everybody talking about this free game they're giving out. I've been giving out free game, and I'm trying to be a good steward of the community, but it's up there. But it's not in a class structure. So maybe what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll retool that and put it out as a class, as a play. Oh, my Sonny, thanks for watching. I love all your encouragement, by the way. My YouTube is just Camari Ellis.
Camari Ellis.
Yeah, CAMARIELLIS. I'm the finance rebel on everything else. So again, CAMARIELLIS. So I appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of stuff on there. Tax stuff, investment stuff. You know, I love my stocks. Everything's up there. Everything's up there.
Okay, so now
You spelled my name wrong,
So
Kim. C-A-M. C-A-M-A-R-I. Yep.
C-A. I spelled it
See,
right?
take out the R. Take out the first R.
Okay. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Sonny got it right. Sonny paying attention.
Okay.
That's my new homie.
Yeah, make sure you check out, man. Vegan chef, man. She's top of the line. She
Oh,
has
she a
her
vegan
own.
chef?
Yeah, she's a
Oh,
vegan
I'm
chef,
on
man.
it.
You need.
I'm trying to make the change. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know if I'm being vegan, but more plant based.
you got to check her out, man. I'm talking
Yeah.
about she make vegan oxtails, vegan curry goat,
Now,
vegan
see,
mac
I
and
don't
cheese, no
like.
dairy,
I'll be
no
honest.
soy.
I don't like the meat substitutes most times, but some of them are actually getting better. But
This
I'll
is
definitely
different.
check
She
it out.
makes her own. This not
Oh,
like she
word.
goes and buys. She makes her own. She got her
All right.
own patented vegan steak, bro.
Was that you did a live at a farmer's market or something like that?
Yes.
Was that were you with her?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll
Yeah.
definitely check her out.
She's the truth when it comes to that vegan cooking, man. She's the real deal with that, man. She's the real deal.
All right.
Okay. So the next tax thing I want to talk to you about is the stocks with capital gains, the trading with capital gains, and losses. Is losses in, I ain't gonna say losses in the stock market. I'm speaking of trading in the context. Can losses count as write-offs or no?
Yes, up to $2,500. But if we're talking,
That's it.
yes. And here's another caveat. So you have short-term losses and you have long-term losses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about professionals, right? Because you can become a professional trader and then the game's totally different for you. But your average everyday people who are in the market trading, by the way, before you do that, learn the whole market. Learn the whole market before you become a trader. Become an investor first. I'm biased, but I don't have a problem with trading. But I just see, again, so many people becoming traders and they don't understand the market at all. But there's a difference between short-term gains and long-term gains.
As an investor, what they do, Queen. Sorry. All right. Short-term gains, long-term gains.
Right.
Okay.
Short-term gains, anything a year or less. Right. Long-term gains, a year or more. All right. Long-term gains are taxed at, I want to say high as 15%. But I got to double check that. Short-term gains, however, are taxed at ordinary tax income. So let's say you're in a 25% tax bracket. You're going to pay 25% on whatever gains you have that are short-term. So if you made $10,000, you're going to pay 25% of that, or $2,500. $2,500 is the number today, by the way, because that's the amount. That's the highest amount of a capital gain write-off you can take. Now, if you have 2,500 short-term gains, you get to write that off against any other short-term. Excuse me. You have 2,500 in short-term losses, you can write that off against any other short-term gains. If you don't have a whole lot of short-term gains, you then what you have to do is what's called a net loss, a net loss carried forward. Basically, you get to carry the loss forward over years until you exhaust the loss. You can write off your long-term losses against your long-term gains. So you got to mix and match and make sure everything lines up. You can make a lot of money trading now, but it takes time. It takes time. And be careful of the tax implications of things. Because, again, if you're really good, and I've seen this happen, there are some cats who are really good at trading. They don't put any money aside for their profits to pay on the tax of the profits. And then they wind up in a lot of tax trouble at the end of the year. So if that is you, or even if you are a business owner that's making money, make sure you account for estimated payments or estimated tax payments, what should be paid quarterly.
And okay, I have another question. I'm trying to get all my questions out.
Well, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here.
Okay.
Oh,
Dang, it was something else.
by the way, that trading rule applies to our real estate flippers as well.
25%.
Well, that was the hypothetical. If you're in the
Yeah.
25% tax bracket, it gets taxed at whatever tax bracket you're at. And that's determined by how much money you make.
So is it a
It's
rule of thumb that people should put aside 20% of all profits for taxes in general?
I tell people 30. I tell people put aside 30%. And depending upon what state you're doing business in, I might have them do 35 or 40. And that's to handle any taxes, state, local, municipality. Like you're in Florida, y'all don't have no local taxes. So y'all blessed like that. Y'all just get the sales tax. But if you're in like a New York or California, you're getting hit heavy.
What is the difference, speaking of local, what is the difference between the federal income tax and the state sales tax?
Okay, so state sales tax is a tax you pay when you're buying any goods and services. Every state is different. For example, and I'm in Philly, right? So in Pennsylvania, we don't tax food for the most part. But if it's prepared food, it gets taxed. Some states don't tax clothing. I know in Delaware, like a lot of people from Philly go to Delaware to buy jewelry because, again, that's a no sales tax state. People will buy jewelry in Delaware or buy electronics in Delaware and they'll bring it back. That's a little different than your income tax. But when you add it all up, we're taxed too damn high. Taxes are too damn high. Like my man used to say back in the day, the rent's too damn high, taxes are too damn high. And so when you factor in your sales tax, your income tax, your real estate tax, a lot of people are over 50 to 60% of the money they make, they're paying in taxes, which is sad, which is really sad. So I tell everybody, be aggressive with your income tax, legally aggressive, and try to get every possible write-off and expense that you can possibly get.
Now, do they mix and mingle the state and the federal side? I know they're two different entities, but do they mix and mingle? So in the context of that, so let's say someone has a service-based business. So they still have sales tax. They still have sales tax because they're making sales with their service, correct?
It depends on the state. Every state's different. Like, and again, in Delaware, there is no sales tax. Regardless of the service or product that you're selling, there's no sales tax. I'm trying to think of some good examples for you. Bear with me 1 second. While we're doing that, can I answer Sonny's question?
Yeah, please.
So Sonny asked, so how come the 1% is taxed less? Sonny, the 1% is taxed less because taxes are like incentives, right? Some activities get treated better than others. When you buy real estate, that gets treated better than, let's say, if you buy real estate for an investment, right? That, from a tax perspective, that gets treated better than if you were to live in your own personal home or residence, because you get to write off that. And nobody has a business or anything. This is just regular people living in their home. If you buy a car, right, that gets taxed differently as if you buy a car to use for business. If you buy a personal vehicle for personal use versus versus a car or a vehicle used for business use, it gets treated differently. If y'all remember at the very beginning of this live, I said the best tax advantages go towards business owners and real estate owners, or investors, but especially real estate owners. Why? This country was founded by business owners. Like, let's not play the game and say George Washington and all those folks did this, stole the land from England and then from the native people just because they wanted fair taxation, right? They wanted it because they didn't want to pay extra tax on their businesses, right? Average everyday people don't really have that problem. Again, I could get real nerdy on that, but I won't. But if you look at that, and then that's how this whole structure is, that's how this whole country is structured. It's structured around the entrepreneur. It's structured around the investor. That's part of the reason why the United States has been able to do things in the globe around the world that many other countries haven't, and they haven't figured that out. So align yourself with those things, whether you're a business owner. And again, if you got to have an interest in it, right? I'm not just telling you to go out and start a business just for the sake of starting a business, because that's going to give you more headache, trials, and tribulations. But if you got an idea, if you Uber, if you sell cakes and pies, if you consult people, if you do hair, it's a business. And if you do that as a real business and not a hobby, because there's a difference, but if you do it as a real business, there are certain write-offs that you are entitled to. Potentially, you could write, again, I said it earlier about the house. You could also write off part of your car if you use your car in business. Just your regular, that personal car I was just talking about, you're now using it in business. You can potentially write off the mileage. All right, you can write off a part of your cell phone bill if you use your cell phone in business. Don't write off the whole thing. The IRS is very slick to that. You can write off meals. Again, me and Trey, we go out, we bust it up, we talk about business, how we can help each other, how we can help one another make more money. That becomes a tax write-off. So all of these normal, everyday things you would do now becomes potentially a tax write-off, or at least a portion of it becomes a tax write-off. So then at the end of the day, you get to keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket instead of giving it to the government. And so, there's a lot of ways that people can reduce their taxable income. There's a lot of investment vehicles and insurance vehicles you can use to reduce your tax dollars. But, the thing about it is the 1% are able to do it because they have the means to do it. Their mud days has been over for generations, a lot of times, or at least decades. And so they hire good attorneys, they hire good tax folks, and they craft, the best strategies that work for them.
Okay.
Let me answer Sonny's next question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Sonny asks, is it better to write off mileage or gas costs? So you have to do one or the other, Sonny. You can write off mileage, or you can write off the actual cost of operating that vehicle. Yes, you can write off some insurance, but you can do actual expenses, mechanic fees, things like that, or you can write off mileage, depending upon the age of the car and the condition of the car would really determine which ones you write off. The insurance, if we're talking about insurance or business, yes, you can write it off. There's even ways you can't write off life insurance, but I got a strategy. I think I've talked about it on YouTube, where you can write off life insurance under your business, and it's tax free. Usually, it's not tax free, but there's ways of going about doing it. But again, we can talk all this fly stuff. We still got to get back to the basics.
Make some money.
Make some money. Get your cash flow up. At the end of the day, get your cash flow up. And then as you go along. So for your business, yes, you can write off a portion of your car insurance, depending upon how you do it. Yes. Yep. There's a lot of stuff you can do. There's a lot.
What about on the personal side? What about speaking to a person who just has a 9-to-5? Can they write off their life insurance? Can they write off?
No. The least amount of power from a wealth and tax perspective someone will have is working a 9-to-5 job. Again, we ain't job checking here. I don't do that. But here's the workaround. Here's the cheat code. If you work a 9-to-5, start a side hustle. Drop Uber, drop Lyft. I actually don't think Uber and Lyft are that economically advantageous when you run all the numbers, but it's great hustle money, especially if you're in a pinch. Start a course, braid hair, do hair, whatever it is. If you do your 9-to-5, have that on the side as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And that'll help you get a large percentage of tax breaks. A large percentage of tax breaks.
Just basically getting a little side hustle on the side and putting that up under a business, and then that'll help you on the other side as far as your personal 9 to 5 is concerned.
Right. Yep. Yep. I mean, listen, man, there's an infinite amount of ways to get to this money. You know that. And there's an infinite amount of ways to protect this money from the government legally. I'm always going to preface it and say legally because a lot of people advocate for doing things that are illegal or potentially illegal. And I'm not for that. I don't want to see none of our folks behind the bars. I tell people all the time, I look good in orange, but I don't look good in orange jumpsuits. That ain't my style. And I don't want it to be yours either. I mean, we got to be thinking, sadly, man, and I'm not trying to play a victim here, but we have to recognize the arena that we're in. They are giving people basketball numbers for doing things just to try to feed their families. We can argue all day long if it's right or wrong, but the reality of it is that's what's being given out. And then when they get behind the wall, they're being treated poorly, subhuman, like slaves, like animals. And I mean, that's what Jay-Z and Yo Gotti and a few others are fighting against. And I think we always got to have our head on the swivel when we're thinking about that. And some of this stuff, you're trying to do a cheat code to get to an extra couple of dollars, but how much is your freedom worth? You can't put a value on my freedom. It's not worth it. I got children. I got a grandbaby, matter of fact. You can't put a value on that because me being outside and just breathing is worth, it's unmeasurable. And so to me, I don't want to do anything to play with that because we already got enough coming at us. That's just my opinion.
So can you speak about a couple of gray areas to stay away from that we may not know about?
The one meme I saw flying around recently was hiring your kids and paying them $12,200 so you could have tax-free write-off for them. You can do that. That's legal. But here's the thing. It's got to be a legitimate, like if you hire, like for example, my son's been running back and forth. I took a picture of him sometimes when my clients give me receipts. I'll have him sort them out. That's a real job, right? I'm not just hiring him just to get the tax write-off. Now, obviously, right, I believe everybody on there has a brain. So yeah, we can also strategize and plan to get to the tax write-offs, but make them appropriate, make them real. Don't try to hire your 6-month-old and say that they're sorting receipts or being a greeter at your store just to get a tax write-off. A lot of people are saying, well, I can use my baby as a model. You can't. You going to pay your baby model rate? Because you're supposed to pay market rate as well. So that's one thing. A lot of people, escorts should have themselves on the payroll. They should pay themselves salary. That is something the IRS targets. You always want to be mindful with the IRS is targeting because historically, these last couple of years, the IRS have been targeting poor people or poorer people, right? Now the IRS is hiring a bunch of folks, and they're already saying the commissioner, Redinger, I forget his first name, is already saying they're going to go after enforcement more because the IRS does a terrible job at enforcement. But they're going to be stepping it up. So to me, the best thing to do is to be truthful, honest, and keep great records of everything that you do. And then that way you make yourself bulletproof. Sonny, yes, pay yourself, depending upon, again, what kind of business structure you have, you just write yourself a check or send yourself PayPal money or Cash App yourself from your business. And then that's called a personal draw. Just keep a good record of it and just try not, you can do that. That's legit. You can run a business. You can get profit off of it. You can take money off of it. Other thing, here's a big one. People love to categorize the people that help them in their business as independent contractors or pay them a 1099. That's something else the IRS and the Department of Labor is cracking down on. There's a difference between an independent contractor and an employee. Most times when people hire folks, they're employees. They are not independent contractors. So there's a test. I've been meaning to do a video on this. I just haven't done it. But usually And Trey, I'll use you as an example. If you have a driver, right, that works on, well, let's use Black Lotus, because I don't know how much you want to talk about trucking. I keep bringing it up.
We could talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
But let's say you hire a driver, right, for Trey's trucking, and you tell them they got to be to work every day at 6:30. I don't know what you all, right? But let's say they got to pick up a load from XYZ and they got to drive it 50 miles and then get another load and come back. You are dictating their workflow. They work for you. They're an employee. They're not an independent contractor. Now, there are some instances where truckers are 1099, they're independent contractors, but a lot of times they have a lot more freedom. But for the most part, scenarios like that, they are employees. Usually, if you control the time, if you control as the employer, right? If you control the time, other people working for you, if you control like the product that they're working on, and they have to work to your timeline, they are an employee versus an independent contractor. I had 2 clients in 2 different states get audited by the Department of Labor at the same time. Why? Because somebody that worked for them went and filed an unemployment claim, and they got them jammed up. Same exact scenario. And so if you think about if your people that work for you may ever think about filing an unemployment claim and you're paying them as a 1099, you want to change over as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. We got Truck and Justin here as well too. If you still on.
Well, hold that. I want to answer Sonny's question real quick because I started. She wants to know percentage wise. So Sonny, I don't know what you need to live on, right? This is something I kind of work on with people that are working at 9 to 5 because everybody wants to. The big fad is right. Leave your job, and that's cool. I'm cool with that, but you got to do it smart. And so I would say the number that you pay yourself anywhere from around 25 to 30%. And again, I'm factoring in taxes and also putting money back into your business. You also have to put money back into your business. But listen, Sonny, inbox DM me, and we can talk about some numbers that I can give you a more accurate rate that you should be thinking about.
So with the trucking, you got, because I've been hearing the talks about the whole cracking down on the 1099 thing, right? So you got 2 type of trucking scenarios that usually get dealt with. There's a lot of them, but the 2 ones I want to talk to you about is that the first one is that you are a truck owner
operator. Yep.
Owner operator, yeah, you're an owner operator, and you hire on a driver to lease on to a third party company. Okay. So you own the truck, and but the company more or less is handling everything, dealing with the dispatching and everything, and that, right? So they pay you a settlement for the most part. You split that with the driver on a weekly basis. That normally gets 1099. Now, is that still good? Is that going to change? Then I'll talk about the other scenario.
So trucking gets a little hairy, right? Because there's all kinds of different scenarios. And I'm not trying to avoid the question, right?
No.
I got a client, right, who's very similar to you, right? He brought a truck to put on his people that came home from jail. And one of the very first guys he did that with wound up becoming his partner. And so their situation was more like a partnership. And so if you want to pay your partner $10.99 because he's not really an employee, right? He's
here. Okay, cool.
That was the internet guy telling you can't go on without me.
I got the moves.
He was saying the internet IG was hating.
Well, I mean, I don't know what time it is, but I think they let us ride for about an hour and a half almost. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't give me no timer.
I was going to say the timer usually comes up when it.
Yeah, the timer didn't come up. They just kicked me off. But I made sure I saved it, and everybody, it's gonna be on my YouTube channel as well too. So it's gonna be on my live for another 24 hours. I screen record it, and it will be on my YouTube channel. All Mindset Mondays will be on my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours. You know what I'm talking about? But okay.
So wait a minute. What's your YouTube? You gotta give me your YouTube channel.
Trey Snatch. Oh, the YouTube is same thing. Trey Snatch. The YouTube is same thing. TRESNATCH. You know, Supreme Natives Against the Causes Hate. I changed some of those acronyms up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I knew that.
Oh, that go back to the rapping and and all that. You know, we'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so let's go back. So I got this driver. We're partners, if you will. They're on the road, signed on to a third-party company. The third-party company pays the truck owner, which is me, let's say, and I split that with the driver. So we're, in a sense, partners, so that's eligible for under 1099, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now.
Or it's eligible for 1099. Yes. Okay,
so now another scenario is that you have your own authority. In the first scenario, you don't have your authority. In this second scenario, you do have your authority. You do still hire the driver, let's say, to work with your company. I'm choosing my words correctly, freely, to work with the company, but I still have a dispatcher dispatching the load. So I'm not technically in control of their time because the dispatcher is dispatching out the loads to them. Now, I will be handling, let's say, the day-to-day operations and paying out everybody, if you will. However, I'm not dispatching them. Yeah, paying the driver percentage of the load, let's just say. Paying the driver percentage of the load, but I'm not dispatching them. That's still eligible for 1099?
Potentially. I'm pulling up, I'm going to pull up something real quick. Now, here's another telltale sign, right? And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with people that just kind of talk, but actually don't know what they're talking about. You want people that cite the IRS. So I'm going to pull up the IRS's definition of independent contractor versus an employee. And I'm going to go directly to the IRS website.
And if it's in Mandarin Chinese, please relate that to nigga English.
Niglish?
Niglish. Yeah, Niglish.
I'll stick with Ebonics.
Okay.
All right, so there's usually three things, right? When we're talking about how to distinguish between an independent contractor who gets a 1099 or an employee who gets their income reported on a W-2. So they have financial control, right? Does the business have a right to direct or control the financial and business aspects of the worker's job? Relationship. Type of the relationship depends upon how the worker and business perceive their interaction with one another. And I'll come back and we can get deeper into these.
Okay.
And behavioral control. A worker is an employee when the business has the right to direct and control the work performed by the worker, even if that right is not exercised. Behavioral controls. All right, so I'm going to go through. We're going to start at the top, and then we'll go through. So behavioral control categories are type of instructions given, such as when and where to work, what tools to use, or where to purchase supplies and services. Receiving the types of instructions in these examples may indicate a worker is an employee. Degree of instruction. More detailed instructions may indicate that the worker is an employee. Less detailed instructions reflects less control, indicating that the worker is more likely an independent contractor. Evaluation systems, right? So are you evaluating this person? Let's be proper in English. Oh, y'all hilarious. Evaluation systems to measure the details of how work is done points to an employee. Evaluation systems measuring just the end result point to either an independent contractor or an employee. This I'm reading directly from the IRS site. All you got to do is Google independent contractor versus employee. All right, I want everybody to know that. This ain't no magic ball. I'm not a genius. I'm just reading how they interpret the law. All right, training a worker on how to do the job, or periodic or ongoing training about procedures and methods. There's strong evidence that the worker is an employee. And
I got the moves. I got the moves.
Methods. All right. So that's the bullet points under behavioral control. So remember I said there's basically three elements: behavioral control, financial control, and the relationship. So I'm going to read financial control now, right? Does the business have a right to direct or control the financial and business aspects of the worker's job? So you are to consider significant investment in the equipment the worker uses in working for someone else. Oh, somebody bought that truck that the person's going to be driving, and the person that's driving the truck doesn't have any interest in it. That's one thing to ponder, right? Unreimbursed expenses, independent contractors are more likely to incur unreimbursed expenses than employees, because the contractor is actually a business owner, right? So they have to be able to conduct their own business on their own. Again, if you are reimbursing expenses, they are more or less an employee. Opportunity for profit or loss is often an indicator of an independent contractor. Services available to the market. Independent contractors are generally free to seek out business opportunities. Is your driver free to go drive for other people? Method of payment. An employee is generally guaranteed a regular wage amount for an hourly, weekly, or other period of time when supplemented by a commission. However, independent contractors are most often paid for the job by a flat rate. All right, so that's all the stipulations under financial control. And again, if y'all need me to go faster, I hope I ain't boring nobody. But the last one is relationship. The type of relationship depends upon how the worker and business perceive their interaction with one another. This includes written contracts, which describe the relationship the parties intend to create. Although a contract stating the worker is an employee or an independent contractor is not sufficient to determine the worker's status. So even if you have this written up, if you act differently, the contract don't mean nothing. All right, benefits. Businesses providing employee-type benefits such as insurance, a pension plan, vacation pay, or sick pay have employees. Businesses generally do not grant these benefits to independent contractors. The permanency of the relationship is important. An expectation that the relationship will continue indefinitely rather than for a specific period rather than for a specific project or period is generally seen as evidence that the intent was to create an employee relationship. All right, and the last one is, services provided, which are key activities of the business. The extent to which services performed by the worker are seen as a key aspect of the regular business of the company. All right, so that might be, what did you call it? Federalese? What did you call it?
Legalese in a sense, yeah. Hold on, Queen Tina, what they do, you might want to stay on this live on with the King Camari Ellis, the financial rebel, and he's breaking down the difference in taxes between independent contractor and employee, especially in the trucking industry. So it's something that you might want to pay attention to, and everybody who's an entrepreneur on the line is something that you're probably going to want to pay attention to as well too. The difference between 1099 contractor and W-2 employee. All right, so now that you finished giving us our Mandarin legalese lesson, can you break those? Yeah, can you break some of that stuff down for us, please?
Hey, Kelly, follow Trey Snatch. Trey Snatch follow Kelly. Kelly's my own girl. She has a company where she makes, designs, and sells lingerie for plus size women, especially plus size women of color.
Okay.
So everybody
I
can get
like
sexy.
my girl BBW. Hey.
That's right. So basically, if you control the work environment of whoever's working with you, if you control how they get paid, when they get paid, if you have a long-term relationship rather than a per-project relationship, those are things that you want to think about when it comes to distinguishing between an independent contractor versus an employee. Now, a lot, I'm reading the comments, so I'm laughing.
She's the fluffy vegan.
Yeah.
She,
You saw that, right?
She's a vegan chef, but she's wild. Hey, listen, you gotta follow her. She's wild, yo. She's wild. That's another story.
Right. So yeah, I ain't got no comment on that. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems. What's up, DJ? Rebel in High Hills. How you doing?
Hey, rehabbing in high heels, what they do, Queen. You know I'm gonna have to get you on another Mindset Monday too. Make sure you follow the Financial Rebel. He's breaking down.
Well, I'm jealous. You had her on. She's
She
ain't been on nothing mine yet.
Yeah, I had her on. We gonna have a whole session with her as well too, man. She dropped. You follow her, right?
Yeah, we connected. We know each other in real life. We got each other's phone.
Okay, man. She is the truth, man. She dropped so much jewels, man. It's amazing, man. Y'all are great, man. Y'all are great. I'm so thankful to be in the presence of greatness right now, man. It's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, and like I said, a lot of people are getting cracked down on because everybody wants to classify the people that work with them as independent contractors because they want to save money. Because when you do hire people as employees,
niggas ain't got no money for workers' comp, man. What's up with you?
Workers' comp and tax and Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, so, but it's not that much. It's not that much. If you get in the bag like that, at the end of the day, when you compare what you're paying your 1099 contractor and what you're paying your employee, it's not that big of a difference.
I mean, we just, we trying to shake a little something out here, you know what I'm saying? Put it all together. So now, okay,
so I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You got to move.
You got people for a short period of times and then bring them back, right? Because they said a long-term intent is more like for an employee. So if you hire them for a month there, hire them for a month there. Don't control the time that they work. They can work whenever they want to work. It's a lot of things to it. Listen, it's so important to know the rules. If you know the rules, I'm not going to say you can break the rules, but you can bend the rules and you can navigate around them to make it advantageous for yourself.
Okay, so they got this saying in the trucking industry: if the wheels ain't turning, you ain't earning, right? So
that's right.
So with that being said, our goal is to more or less hire a driver who's gonna, be out on the road 10 to 14 days at a time. You get some home time, be flexible with it. But hey, listen, you trying to make some money because you got bills to pay. This truck is an asset, huh?
I got loads that need to be carried.
Correct. So, and technically, okay. She has a what? That works. That.
So then, from the business they ask, so it's no hate, but I'm just saying that anybody can do it if they. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You can teach me how to rhyme. I might not be good, but it could go either way because corporations, they'll pay them because, it takes a bit of time of service. But whatever you're paying them should come back to you in multiples of 4, 5, and 10 at any given time. But yeah, anybody that wants to reach out to me. Like I said, I'm here for the upliftment. Yeah, I'm here to do business too. I don't want to act like the whole store for sale, but I'm here for the upliftment. I'm here for the culture. And I know and believe along the way that there's enough money out here for all of us to get money. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, please, please, please DM him. DM him. He is open for consultations. He does taxes, and guess what, y'all? It's tax season. So, I hope, not hope. He has provided immense value tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Immense value. Exercise his knowledge, and so he's available. You're taking clients, right?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay, so he's taking clients, and that's nationwide?
Yep, I got clients all over the place, from Kansas to Florida, Virginia, Maryland, PA, all over the place.
He's taking clients. It's nationwide. He has a wealth of knowledge. He's a resource that is here. So is it smart to itemize on my taxes?
So that's a little tricky. So let's say you're single. I'm answering your question about itemizing on taxes. Let's say you're single, and you get your standard deduction is $12,200. So you only get to itemize if you exceed $12,200. So that what can we itemize, right? So we can itemize the money that we give to our church and our mosque. We can itemize our mortgage interest. We can itemize our healthcare expenses if they go over a certain amount. That's a little tricky. You can itemize your real estate tax, your state and local taxes up to $10,000. So you can itemize a lot of things, depending upon where you are, what you do, where you live. It's easy. For some folks, it's not so easy. For example, like Miss what is that, Aquarius? If you're married, right, your standard deduction then becomes $24,400. And so you got to have expenses or deductions that exceed $24,400. So it really depends. It really depends. Trey think I'm blowing smoke up people's asses, but that ain't the case. Everybody's situation.
I understand, I'm saying it seems like any situation can go any way depending on the particular situation and how it's what's going on and everything like that, and I understand that as well too. Like somebody may say I'm trying to think of an example. Like somebody may say I want to get authorized user trade lines. I'm looking for some trade lines. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
And I'll, they'll be like, do you have them or access to them or whatever? Yes, I do. Or should they get authorized? Let me rephrase it. Should I get authorized user trade lines? Well, that depends on your goal. You know what I'm saying? If you are trying to purchase a home through the government, FHA, you don't want to get authorized user trade lines because to boost up your credit to get approved for a FHA loan, because that's considered mortgage fraud. Whereas if you're trying to get them to boost up your profile and get some cards and get some personal funding to use as creative funding, well, then that's your go-to thing. You know what I'm saying? So should you get it? Well, that depends on your goal. So I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
You just got a lot more than me.
I mean, what's the doctor's oath, right? First thing you do is do no harm. So, I believe the same thing. And I've watched people, and just let me back up. I didn't realize the power of these social media tools for a long time. Mm-hmm. And what I realized after a while is that it's very powerful. And I've literally had people go and spend money, buy a stock or do whatever based off of my recommendation of a live, and I didn't tell them to do it. I'm just talking about it. That's why I always clarify that this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. But I never want somebody to go do something and they shouldn't have done it. Just because, we on air, people think we can talk slick and talk cool and they take our recommendation. Then they hurt themselves financially, and that's not what I want.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So the only thing he can recommend for y'all to do is book a consultation with him. You understand what I'm saying? So we can get into, your personal situation. Even though he's answering some specific questions to individuals, everything seems in this realm to have nuance to it. And there could also be some other caveats that, you know, you're not speaking about that could affect that particular answer or decision that he's giving you now. So the best recommendation is to book a consultation, get on his schedule, and then you could break down the whole pack to him, and he could give you, like I like to say with creative consulting, a customized GPS to the best situation. You know what I mean? So, and you know, that's a lot of times what I do with the creative consulting, because everybody's situation is different, whether it's credit or their goals or whatever the case may be. So, you know,
I need to talk to you about that, because I like working with creatives, and a lot of times I love my creatives, but they think that they can be business at. And I think with today's current hip hop environment, that's been totally disproved. But a lot of them still have this programming that they can't be business people. And, you know, there's a lot of dope people out here doing a lot of dope stuff, whether it's cooking, whether it's DJing, whether it's drawing, and they can make money off their art. I mean, they're doing something really great. So, yeah.
Well, with the creatives, I was doing a podcast about 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, and I was having the same conversation. So, okay, from the music aspect. So this is how I broke it down from the music aspect. So, right, from the music aspect, you got the creative aspect of it, and that's what most people love. Like, okay, myself personally, music, I love music. I love creating music. So you got the, you know, from the making the beat or the getting the beat and writing the lyrics. Then you got the Pro Tools, and that's where you recording it and mixing and mastering it. And I do that as well too, right? I enjoy that as well. So now it's mixed and mastered, right? But that was the process that I enjoy. I even enjoy performing. So going to perform it, entertainment, that's my thing. I love it. Now, that's the creative aspect of it. But now when we get to the business aspect, I don't love so much, which is the Library of Congress registration, the Performer Rights Organization registration, your song trust, your Nielsen BDS, your distribution to get it out on Spotify and Pandora and Tidal, shout out to Jay-Z, right? And then you got your SoundCloud and your YouTube, which all have different marketing. They're beast of their self. So they all have different strategies as far as gaining exposure. Then you go to Instagram, and that's a whole nother marketing tool to promote. And then you do all of that to get, you know, 2 likes. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, and it comes with the territory, but I say that to say, you know, I love the writing, the recording, the performing. I don't so much love the administration and the registration and the marketing and the whoop-de-wop-de-wop. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where it comes in at with the creatives, and that's what I've experienced. It can be, and everything has its own realm like that too, whatever business you're in, but it can be daunting.
Like
you know, it can be daunting.
But y'all are in a very special space, right? And of course, everybody's not going to be a millionaire. But we just got through Christmas time, right? I just read that Mariah Carey made $60 million from her, I forget, her Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote it, she sung it, the whole 9. I mean, you talk about the gift that keeps on giving. If you create something, it can potentially keep on giving, whether it's from royalties, whether it's from performance. And you know, all performers aren't equal, all creators aren't equal, right? They're going to be different, but there's nothing really out there that has that power, that leverage. And again, you know, everybody doesn't have that, but just we've had Christmas songs for forever. And that lady was able to break into that market and dominate. She's got like the #1 Christmas song for like the last 20 years. It's like mind-boggling to me. And again, you know, I know that's an exception, but you know, how many other people can write lyrics and afford them in just their region and get buzz from it, like you said, from all the streaming services. Like there's a lot of opportunity. I see some of these painters that are on IG selling their paint off of IG, doing lives, like actually painting their stuff on IG. I mean, again, if you're good, the creator now has more leverage and more access than he ever have had before. But actually, everybody has more leverage and more access than he ever had before.
Absolutely.
We got to use it. And then a lot of us make excuses for not using it. Like, for example, right, I started out doing media stuff on radio. I had a radio show years ago. And then from that, I kind of fell in love with social and digital. I didn't like video because I am more of a behind the scenes type guy. I only do video because it works, right? Just being honest. I started doing video. I make myself do video because I don't like doing video. And it's a tool that's easily accessible. It's on my phone and I can use it. I just feel like everybody's got to be on that same level when talking about doing things, especially the creatives. Because the number one thing people want to watch, they want to watch something interesting, right? Creatives, they got the advantage of that. Now, again, like we said, all creatives aren't equal, but they know how to be interesting just by being themselves.
Yeah.
So why not get paid for being yourself?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Can't lie about that. Can't lie about that. We ain't even get into, you know what I'm saying, the whole, you know.
Oh, that first convo we had.
Yeah, we ain't get into the whole how we got into the politics and the national. We just gonna have to have.
No, I don't want to do that one live.
Yes. Okay.
We can. I mean, you know what? I don't care. We can definitely do that, but we can do that. We can do that. I ain't gonna run from it.
Yeah. You know what? We need alternate pages to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I ain't gonna run from it.
We need to do alternate pages for that. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna hold you any longer, man. I had you for 2 hours, man. Thank you, man. I can't tell you thank you so much, man. Please go follow the Financial Rebel. These lives is gonna be up here. I'm gonna screen record them. They're gonna be on my YouTube channel, Trey Snatch, and his YouTube channel is Camari Ellis. So make sure you follow that. Subscribe to that and hit that thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead and get closer to his 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, so he can monetize that. And
I'm over
bring
1,000.
Huh?
I'm over 1,000, but I don't have 4,000 hours. I got to talk to you about that. That's a whole other beast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't either. But
That's a whole other beast.
We'll talk about that. You know what I'm saying? We'll put some stuff together. Yeah, so definitely follow him. Hit his DM, book a consultation. He is taking tax clients right now. Like I said, if you've been on this, he done dropped everything on you, from the 1099 to the K1s to the LLCs and all that good stuff. So make sure y'all follow him. Make sure y'all subscribe to his YouTube channel and hit his DM. You need them taxes done. You still creating businesses too?
I don't do that as much. I'll do it for a client though. So if you're a client, I'll do it for you.
Okay, so if you hit him in the DM and you become one of his clients, he'll set up your business structure for you as well, and it only makes sense because he'll recommend for your specific situation the best business structure and how, you know what I'm saying, it'll be beneficial to you with the taxes. So it only makes sense. It's called integrated vertically, you know what I'm saying, on some Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
Definitely holla at him, man. Thank you so much. And we're gonna do this once a quarter, people, because like he said, you shouldn't just be talking to your tax professional, your tax specialist or strategist when it's time for taxes, especially for the previous year and the next year. So you shouldn't be talking to your tax strategist in 2020 about your 2019 taxes. If you're speaking to them 4 times a year, once a quarter, that makes sense to have your stuff on track, so you won't, if you stay ready, you won't have to get ready. So we're going to do one of these minds. We're going to look forward to 3 more, at least a minimum of 3 more of these Mindset Mondays during this year. Look forward to that, people. You know what I'm saying?
And I go live almost every day on my channel, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on IG.
On Instagram too?
Talking something about money. Yeah, I usually do it on Instagram too, yeah. just trying to elevate the whole financial environment, the whole financial ecosystem that surrounds our community.
Okay, definitely. Is it at a specific time or just be random?
I haven't gotten the time down yet, so I just do it when I get time. Yeah.
Okay. You see, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, with this Mindset Monday, I'm like 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. I mean, I'm envious of you, right? In a not in a real way, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. But life has just been so crazy. And so my commitment was, because remember I just told you I don't like video. I said, well, all right, I'm at least going to do a video every day, right? So I'll get that. Then I'll work on getting the time. So we got to do baby steps with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sonny says you my cousin on my Wi-Fi side.
All right, that works, Sonny. You got jokes, Sonny, so we'll get along real good. I like to laugh and joke, so that's love right there. Yeah. And Sonny, my name is Camari Ellis, the financial rebel on Facebook, or just Camari Ellis, either one. No, I'm almost on every day. I just ain't got the time down yet, so I am partially consistent. That Jesus talk Trey was talking about.
That parable slang.
I like that. I might use it in that parable slang.
Parable slang. Ooh, that's nice. That would be dope on a shirt. Anything else? Anything you want to leave? Yeah, that'd be dope. Anything you want to leave with the people? Anything else you want to leave with the people? Any tips? Any insights?
No, I want to say to you, Trey, thank you for having me on, giving me the privilege and opportunity to talk to your people. I appreciate you immensely, bro. You're always encouraging me to do more, because I've kind of come out of my shell, because, again, I wasn't into this. I would do some posts, and I'm catching the rhythm now. I'm getting more into it, but you were one of the people that said, yo, let's do this. Let's get at it. And so, I heard the call, and I'm moving that way now. So I appreciate that. And listen, all the questions that came on tonight were excellent. There was not one dumb question at all. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I mean, these are really questions that I can tell folks are about their money and getting to that bag. So that's great. That's great. I am really encouraged by that.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Anything that I could do to support everything that you got going on, man, my platform is yours. Anything I could do to support, whatever you need from me, from my platform, man, you got it, King. Whenever you want to come on. And
I'll be on soon. I'm about to drop the Stock Market 101 and to relaunch the Financial Rebel Academy.
Okay, absolutely. Whenever you drop it, whatever you want to promote, man, let me know, man. We go, we'll do another Mindset Monday, or it could be whenever, man. We'll go live and, we'll open it up, man. Anything that you have to promote, I support it, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You got
to appreciate that. All right. I appreciate that. True.
So, definitely, man. So y'all know what it is, man. Mindset Monday, Trey Snatch, Black Lotus, the brand, the lifestyle. Y'all know what it is. What we doing? Creating that generational wealth. Y'all already know what it is. You feel me? Pennies to dollars, dollars to leverage. Leverage your way to freedom. Make sure you check out the Financial Rebel, Camari Ellis, on all his platforms. He's taking consultations and clients right now. Y'all know the motto. If you stream the music or you purchase the merchandise, you support me. If you purchase one of the products, Dollar Dojo or Dooley Dojo, or book a consultation, you investing in yourself. Mindset Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is what we do. We create royalty through financial literacy, and we bring it to you in a creative way. You know what I'm saying? So I will see y'all next week. Thank you so much, King. Thank you for the wealth of knowledge. I'm saving all of this, and make sure you check out the YouTube page. If you missed anything or you need to go back and take notes, it'll be on YouTube, so you don't have to just catch it in 24 hours, all right? Black Lotus, the brand and lifestyle, signing off. I'll see y'all next week.